All right, everybody, we are live from DreamHack Atlanta. Surprisingly, I'm here. You can see my son. He's over there. He's just right next to Max. Max, wave to everybody. There he is. So that's Max.
Max, how you doing, buddy?
That's Maxwell. We are here live at DreamHack Atlanta. So this is a video game convention that I go to a couple times a year with my son. And I hope the background noise isn't too bad. I've tried to eliminate just some noise suppression here with the microphone, so hopefully this works well. With me, I've got Jonathan Schlegel, friend of the show, who's not flying in to Cleveland right now, but that is his video in the background. He is a pilot. He does fly places. John, fan of the show, admin in the chat, pilot, lawyer, everything under the sun. We got Jonathan Schlegel, and then my dad with me as well, down in the bottom right hand corner. Brownie Post Dan is here as well. Dad, say hello.
Hi guys, it's going to be an interesting day. I have set up my TV. I've got one of these legal boxes that I have bought for my living room, that I can get all the NFL, you know, all the college games, all the baseball games, everything.
So you're going to be watching it on the illegal box. That's what you're saying.
Yes, yeah. And
got it.
The cool thing is it has multi-screen. So I've set it up that I have two screens that are ready to go when the games come on, because neither one is broadcast in, you know, live here in the Orlando area that I want to watch. The Cleveland game obviously is not. I think they're playing Jacksonville or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I've got to use the box to be able to get the Browns game.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have that on one screen, and I'm going to have the Carolina game against Baltimore on the other, and watch Baker. So I'm going to switch back and forth once the games start at 1 o'clock, and be able to watch both of those games.
Beautiful.
Simultaneously.
Well, I've got interestingly on my side, I have a DirecTV ticket app on my TV at home, but I'm not at home. I'm here in Atlanta, and I don't have the account information. So I reached out to the guy who gave it to me, and he hooked me up with another one. So I'm gonna put in the chat here in a second the guy. If you need a DirecTV login for the NFL ticket, you got to hit this guy up. He's awesome. He is. The account is Bees. I'm gonna put it in chat for you guys, but it's Bees_330. Hit him up, let him know that you need an account. Guy on Twitter for DTV. That's the guy. Hit that guy up. Let him know that you need DirecTV login. He hooks it up. He's got the plugs, as the kids say. So I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be streaming it. I'm probably going to be live for the whole game, guys. So if you want to sit here and watch, if you want to watch the game with me, you can. If not, totally understand. But we're gonna be taking you right up to kickoff at 1 o'clock. So this is the interesting one. This is the one where it should have been in Buffalo, but they had the giant snowstorm, so they're no longer going to be playing in Buffalo. We're playing in Detroit. And the 3-6 Browns take on the 6-3 Buffalo Bills. Right. So this is probably going to be an ugly one, if I had to guess.
Well, I mean, I heard a lot of the chat about, oh boy, we're losing our advantage because we would have been able to play them in the snow, and it would have limited the offenses, and blah blah blah. We would have a better chance to win. But who cares? I mean, you don't want to win a game just because it's snowing and you take advantage of the snow. I want to see our two.
Yeah, a win's a win. I'm with you.
I would use any way we can get them.
Well, it's not so much the win as it is, let's see how good we are.
We're not very good. We're not. Yeah, we're not very good.
Yeah, and I think Buffalo, in normal conditions, which you play most of your games in normal conditions, their offense is going to shred our defense, I think, and maybe our offense will score some points and keep it interesting for a while. But this is going to show you what's going to happen when Watson comes back and he starts to play, and we got a defense that can't stop anybody, and he's going to have to put up 50 points to win a game. So hopefully our defense shows up today, and they take advantage of a couple of turnovers, whatever. They get motivated and trying to save their jobs or whatever, and we go from there.
Quick shout out to everybody in chat. We got Hambone, Mids Plug, Mike Ogden, Lynn Savage is in the house. Isaiah Gassina, Hambone, Mids Plug, saying the same people. Ray's here. Mark Schoen's here. What's going on, guys? This is a really interesting thing if you think about this game that is being played in Detroit. Okay, let me play out another scenario for you guys. You remember when they played the Super Bowl in New York a couple years ago? They played in cold weather Super Bowl, and and everybody was like, "Oh, I don't know, this is weird." Imagine if this snowstorm in Buffalo happened in New Jersey, where they have the Giant Stadium, and they couldn't play the Super Bowl because of I think 3 feet of snow.
I think the reason they didn't play it in Buffalo was because it would take resources away from the city to help clear the streets and things like that. And, emergency vehicles and all that. And for a football game, there's the opportunity to move it. With the Super Bowl, they can bring in extra resources.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point.
And they can have that area cleared and have traffic feasible, if not, maybe not great, but feasible. Yeah, you know what? That's probably
it probably is like a public safety issue, number one. But the flip side of it too, if you're Buffalo, New York, how hard would it be to design a stadium that has heaters in the ground and heaters all throughout the stadium, so any snow that hits it instantly melts, and then it has proper drainage? I mean, from what I understand, Buffalo Stadium is a piece of crap anyway. So they're kind of due for a new stadium, and this could be like one of those things that says, "Hey, listen, I'm sure that they have some deal. There's some fallback with the NFL where Buffalo, since it's a home game, they're going to get all the revenue out of Detroit, but it's going to be nowhere near the type of revenue that they would have just naturally gotten in a home game." So I think they're gonna learn their lesson from this.
What were the ticket sales, Mike, that you were talking about earlier?
Well, apparently on the Bills app, so the Bills have their own ticket app, and they were giving a discount. A significant discount for tickets to be bought through the Bills app. So it was 20, 30, I don't know what percentage, but it was a significant discount. So they were reporting that they sold 54,000 tickets through the Bills app. And then McNeil or Reflog on Twitter was like, yeah, I mean, any Browns fan who's looking for tickets could go through the Bills app and get a discount to the tickets. Just because you buy it through the Bills app doesn't mean they're Bills fans, right?
Right.
Thank you. Yes, we did hit 6,000 subscribers last week. Thank you very much, Lynn. I appreciate it. We're working our way up to 10,000. If the Browns would win and people gave a crap about the Browns, then I think we'd probably get a chance at hitting the 10,000. But maybe one day.
When Watson comes back, I mean, our viewership should go up because everybody is going to tune in for that first 1 or 2 games to see how he does and see how we do.
Oh, yeah. That'll be a big game.
Win them. The bandwagon is going to start rolling down the street.
And if he's good, it's going to go and be great. But if he's bad, right. My God, we've tanked our team for the next 8 years because we have spent $235 million, and there's nothing we can do about it. That our team, we're going to be back to 2010 if Watson turns out to be bad.
Absolutely. John, you got to explain your graphic on the right-hand side.
I was looking for a moment to do that, but yeah, so that's from the Genesee Brewery in Buffalo. They're measuring the snowfall by cans of beer, which I think is kind of quirky and kind of neat. But that's a picture they put out. Looks like it's, by my count, 8 cans of beer, 9 cans of beer. I don't know. There might be some more buried underneath.
Yeah,
right. By my measurement as a man, every beer can is 6.5 inches tall. But that's a man's measurement. So I don't know how much snow there is there.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's still snowing in Buffalo, right?
No, we don't. But going back to what you were saying about you didn't want to win that way. Well, I don't think the Jets are giving back their win for winning in a historical fashion. No one's giving up a win. You take what we can get them.
I don't think it would be a true test of our defense against their offense.
I don't need a true test, Dan. What I need is a win.
Super Bowl, you got to have a defense.
Well, I want W's.
Guys,
I don't care about a true test.
We're 3-6 right now. We basically, if we want to have a chance at doing anything this season, we actually want to have an interesting, beyond just hey, Deshaun's back for the last couple of games. If we actually want to try to make a run, we need to win this game, and we need to win the game against the Buccaneers next week. because then we'd be 5-6, which is what everybody expected Deshaun or Jacoby to get us, to be 5-6. Now, I don't blame this 3-6 on Jacoby. I blame it on the defense. It is squarely on the defense and special teams. The fact that we could.
Great.
What?
Brissett's been great, more than we could ask for.
Yeah, 100%. Like, Jacoby has been improved. I think Jacoby earned his backup role on this team. Like, that's 100%. If we can afford him as a backup, great backup to have, because who knows? I mean, Deshaun could tweak something next year. He could, just like Greg Newsome, he could run into a guy at the damn player walkthroughs and get a concussion. Can you believe that? That we have a player that ran into another guy in a pad-free practice and got a concussion.
Yeah, and he's out for the game.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. This is where, the whole thing with Kevin Stefanski, where it's like smart, tough, accountable. It's not smart to run into a player in a padless walkthrough practice. It's not tough. Well, I mean, head injuries are
I think
difficult.
that might be the only thing that we've got is the fact that our players are tough. I don't think they're smart or accountable.
No, and there's no accountability. He's like, they asked him, it's like, hey, what happened to Greg Newsome? And Stefanski's like, well, everybody's going full speed and these things happen. Why are you going full speed with no pads on?
And when do they happen? When else do they happen?
Correct. But why are you going full speed without the pads on? What are you're trying to simulate a real life game experience without pads? Right? Yeah. And to the point where two guys can hit heads or one guy can get concussed. Where's the accountability? Who is accountable? Kevin Stefanski's accountable for that. He's the head coach. He's the one who made the decision to allow them to go head first in a freaking practice.
What we've got is not smart, tough, and not accountable, because nobody's paying for any of this yet. We haven't seen a single move for accountability, and there's been a lot of dumb stuff so far this season. The Myles Garrett incident, this thing. I mean, what are we doing? Where's the accountability? Where is the accountability?
Well, the accountability is going to happen at the end of the season. If Joe Woods comes back, if Mike Prefer and Joe Woods come back, then I would say, I mean, people have been wishy-washy on Stefanski now ever since the playoffs. So last year, his inability to turn this team around or keep it going, and then this year with how bad it started, that Kevin Stefanski, I think there's a real starting to heat up that hot seat for Kevin Stefanski. If he doesn't make the move to get off of Joe Woods and Mike Prefer, to move off of those two guys, then I don't think he deserves to be head coach anymore. Or Andrew Berry for that more.
I don't know that Prefer is necessary. I mean, the Jets game, yes, that sucks. But I don't think the Prefer is necessarily doing that bad of a job overall.
Well, allow me to make my case for you then. Has he developed a kicker yet? In like 5 years, has he developed a kicker? He's ran through like 5 kickers, and most of them are still in the league. Okay, right? So he's got Zane Gonzalez, Greg Joseph, Austin Siebert. I mean, the list goes on and on. Has he developed a punter? No, he has not. He has not developed a punter, and he has had like 5 punters as well. Has he developed a solid kick returner? I know.
That's a definite no. In fact, we can't kick return for shit.
Well, Jerome Ford looks like he could probably do it, but I don't even say I don't give that to Mike Prefer. Like, Jerome Ford's just that good. But he hasn't developed a kick returner. He hasn't developed a punt returner. He hasn't he doesn't get his team ready for fake field goals. He doesn't get his team ready to cover kicks or to recover kicks on onside. Mike Prefer has done absolutely nothing. He's terrible. He is terrible.
He's been better on penalties, if nothing else. So I haven't had as many penalties.
No, we also got a penalty. A false start. Whether you can argue that it wasn't a false start on that field goal. You can argue that, but he got a penalty on a potential game-winning field goal. A false start penalty. Well, that's how bad Mike Prefer is
on the field. I mean, it's his
smart,
people.
tough, accountable. Who is it smart? No. Is it tough? No. Is Mike Prefer going to be held accountable for it? That's the question.
I agree that there's got to be some changes for next year. If Stefanski comes back with the same unit, same people, that doesn't bode well for being a head coach and wanting to improve. You always get new players. If the players don't perform, they're gone. Well, if the coaches don't perform, they should be gone too.
Exactly.
And there's nothing on the track record there, as Mike has indicated, from both the defense, certainly with the talent that they supposedly had. Maybe they weren't as good as the hype that we gave them, but special teams.
Denzel Ward is terrible this year, and we had a chat earlier saying like I can't remember who chatted, who said the chat in, but it was that we should have traded Denzel last year. We just gave Denzel money. We're not trading him. But
right. He's not going anywhere.
Denzel is made out of glass. Greg Newsome apparently is made out of glass. Myles Garrett is trying to launch himself into the stratosphere in his Porsche. We have linebackers who can't stay on the field.
JOK is always having issues.
He's having issues. Then we have John Johnson, who's out there, who plays safety. John Johnson, who literally jogs around the field. And if you guys follow Roberto Shenanigan on Facebook or on Twitter, so Roberto Shenanigans he calls out a lot of players, specifically John Johnson. And he put a video out where John Johnson on the running play against the Dolphins last week. Where I can't remember which one of the running backs it was who ran and it broke that long touchdown run. John Johnson literally jogged at him and didn't even make an attempt to tackle him. John Johnson is part of the problem, and if anybody does not think that, they're wrong. John Johnson has got to go. He's been our safeties have been atrocious for half a decade. They've been atrocious. Dad, can you? I honestly. If I'm trying to think of this, the last legitimate safety that we had on the Cleveland Browns, legitimate Pro Bowl level safety, was probably Eric Turner, the late, rest in peace, Eric Turner, in the early 90s before he went to the Raiders. That's how long.
He could hit. I mean, he was a hitter.
Yeah, he was a hit stick machine. Yeah. But that's it. We don't have a safety that wants to hit anybody. He wants to jog at guys running in for a touchdown. John Johnson sucks. As
much as we hated Sendeo, he hit people. I mean, he tackled
sometimes
people.
Our guys too.
Yeah, Midsplug just said it. Midsplug just said Sendeo is not looking so bad now. That's how bad our safeties are. That if Andrew Sendeo actually is decent, that's how bad our safety play has been. It's terrible.
This is an indictment of Barry.
Yeah.
That the year that we got John Johnson, which I think was the off season before last season, we brought in John Johnson, like two other Rams defensive players that were
Troy Hill, and John Johnson.
Yeah, and they were all. We brought in one more too. They were like, "Hey, bring in this guy. He's our buddy. Let's all come in as a unit. Let's all play together." And I thought, oh my God. And the Rams defense the previous year was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to bump our defense up.
Yeah.
And then the first half of last year, our defense was, in the toilet. And then we got good or better, at least in the second half of the year. And made
TJ Ward was okay.
And then here we are again, the first half of this year, and we're in the toilet again. So there's a lot of things I like about Barry. But I'm starting to think that maybe he's not the guy. I don't know.
Nothing up to the trade deadline. He didn't pick up one player where other teams are making moves. Now, granted, they're in a better position maybe to make a run than we were, and he doesn't want to.
We're clearly not.
But he hasn't picked up free agents other than he got the Clowney to come back, I guess. But
hooray!
He hasn't done much. So,
yeah, Jadeveon Clowney's been terrible when he's even on the field. Again, our whole defense is they're injured all the time. Nobody actually wants to play. We're losing, and we don't have draft picks. So if Deshaun Watson doesn't come in, like you said, Dad, if he just come in and give us 50 points a game, I don't know how we're going to be competitive because the defense doesn't want to play. Either they're scheming wrong or they're getting schemed against, which the Miami Dolphins schemed against them. All you have to do to beat the Browns defense, all you have to do is put 2 guys on Myles Garrett. You win. And you score 30-plus points against us. 2 guys against Myles Garrett. Everybody else just play your game on offense, and you win.
Right. And if we get behind by, say, 10 or 14 points, we have to get off our game plan, which is to run Chubb and Hunt, which, is great when we can do it. But if you fall behind and you have to worry about Jacoby throwing the ball downfield.
Yeah.
He's great at 10 and 12-yard passes. But you have him throw a 20-yard or a 30 or a 40-yard pass.
Yeah. And the stats prove that.
And he misses them not by just off the guy's fingertips or what. He misses them by plenty. His accuracy goes way down.
Or he underthrows guys because we've had a couple bombs downfield where he's connected where DPJ makes a circus catch, right? So he has had a couple of those, but he got bailed out by his athletic wide receivers. But here's the deal. On the offensive side of the ball, then we have David Njoku who can't stay healthy. He's having a career year. David Njoku is one of the best tight ends in the league this year. He's actually stepped up and played well. Gets injured. Gets injured.
Right.
And then I
think that's because Jacoby features him because it plays into his ability to throw that 10, 12-yard pass to a turnaround tight end.
Yeah.
Or, that type of thing. So I'm not surprised that he's having a good year. As long as he can stay healthy and stay on the field, he can catch the ball. I mean, he's a big guy. He's learned how to block, evidently. So he's earned his stripes there. But if you got to stay healthy, just stay on the field to be able to make catches.
Yeah, no, that's absolute truth. Just on the offensive side of the ball, we have the only good thing is that we still Nick Chubb is still relatively young. I mean, he's not in the upper 20s yet. When Nick Chubb starts to get to be 27, 28, 29, it's over. The window's over.
His career.
Yeah, we wasted Nick Chubb's 20s.
Right, and Hunt, Barry should have traded him at the trade. He should have found somebody.
Maybe he couldn't. Maybe nobody. They looked at him. They said, "We'll give you a 5th or 6th round pick for him."
Well, that's unfortunate, but he was worth, his weight in gold there. And if I was a team like LA, who's been decimated, the Rams decimated by injuries, including Coop going down with not only a high ankle sprain, but he had to have surgery on the high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
So he's going to be gone for a long. And Stafford is doing crap. They lost a running back. They need somebody to help their team. And I guess they weren't willing to give up enough for Barry. Maybe he wanted too much.
The Rams are 3-6. The Super Bowl winning Rams. They have the same record as the lowly Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
One of the things I'm worried about today, since we're talking a little bit about injuries and the fact that people can't stay on the field, is, we saw the NFLPA just asked the NFL to ban this turf type called slit field turf type.
Good.
And which, great. I mean, I wish all the fields were grass, spend a little money and just actually maintain.
There's only 16 of the teams that have grass fields. All the rest are artificial.
Right. And there's not that many that are on this slit film turf type, but Detroit is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So unfortunately, we're going into the most dangerous type of field conditions with a ground game. And that stinks. And at least in Buffalo, they're the only team in the league. I looked into this a little bit. It's called an A-type turf, which nobody else has. And so there's no real way to analyze whether or not this A-type is better, worse, or the same as these other turfs. But at least it's not the slit film, and that's what we're going into today. So God help our running backs today, and I hope that they're not getting I hope nobody suffers a knee injury or an ankle sprain or something.
Do we know who's out today? Is Teller out today again?
No, Teller's playing.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
he's playing.
Yeah, let me check the injury report. Teller, from what his wife tweeted out a picture that he was playing, so.
The only outs that I've seen have been Conklin, Newsom, and Perry and Winfrey. Which is
Conklin's out. Yay.
which is
I mean,
not
he's been
Conklin's a loss, but
he's
I
been
heard
terrible.
that. I heard that Dunn is out too.
yeah, Dunn's
Yeah,
out.
Dunn's out. Yeah. Yeah, it's Browns. So DraftKings just put it out. Okay, Browns. Kellen Mond, inactive. Greg Newsome, Felton, DeAndre Bell, Isaiah Thomas, Drew Forbes, and Perion Winfrey are inactive.
Any coaches out?
The Bills are without tight end Tommy Sweeney, Justin Murray, Greg Rousseau, linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, Virginia Tech guy, linebacker AJ Klein, cornerback Tre'Davious White, and cornerback Care Elam. So, I mean, I think the Bills are basically at full strength going into this game.
They're missing a wide receiver, Jake Kumaro, but I don't know that he's even on the depth chart.
Yeah,
So.
I'm telling you guys, with how bad Conklin's been terrible. After he got injured last year, Conklin's not the same guy anymore. Jedrick Wills is an absolute disaster. He is a trash can of a left tackle, and I'll die on that
too.
I'll die on that hill. I'll die on that hill. He is absolutely a trash can of a left tackle, and it's not just that he gets beat. It's not just that he allows mediocre, nobody's ever heard of them defensive ends to get to the quarterback. It's the effort. It's the fact that he doesn't play to the whistle blows, and he sits there and he stares at his quarterback get tackled by the guy he was supposed to be blocking. I'm sorry. You can make all the excuses in the world for him, like, oh, what is he supposed to do? Block for the whole play? I mean, there's nobody left to block. Like, do you know anything about football? You like, what is he supposed to keep blocking? No, yeah, you keep blocking. He makes millions of dollars to stand on a football field. The offense gets what, like 70 plays, 70 snaps a game? 70. And he can't block for all 70 snaps?
I remember I saw him when he first joined the team. I don't know if he still does this because I haven't kept up with it anymore, but I remember all week long when in between games, he'd be on his social media playing Call of Duty or Warzone or whatever all the time with his buddies.
And he's good at it. He's very good at it.
Maybe he is. I don't know enough about those games to know, but I just feel like I wonder what the other players are doing. He's the only one out here broadcasting his entire life, and it seems like always, and again, I don't know if he's doing that now or more recently, but it seemed like that's all he was doing the day that we drafted him, or the year that we drafted him.
He plays a lot of Call of Duty. He's very good at it. I will tell you that he's a good player. But man, I mean, just like how disappointing that we have guys that we draft. I mean, look at all the guys we've drafted recently. Literally all of them. Other than, I would say, JOK has worked out to a certain degree. When he's healthy, JOK is good. He's not injured. He's not a force to be reckoned with. He's not like a Ray Lewis type linebacker, but he can make plays. I think he was drafted at a great spot in the second round. JOK. That's a guy I'll give you. I'm not giving you Greg Newsome. I'm not giving you Greedy Williams. Go back before. I mean, and then
It's the last time we saw Greedy Williams play
Greedy
two
Williams,
games in a row.
Yeah, do anything.
Or make an impact.
He's another guy that I'm sure they tried to trade at the trading deadline, and they were probably like, "Yeah, we'll take Greedy Williams from you, and you give us a draft pick and you pay his salary." That like the Baker deal, like pay his salary, give us a draft pick, and we'll take Greedy Williams. That's how bad that guy is, right? So no, Bryce, I wasn't comparing him to Ray. I was just saying that he's not a dominant type linebacker like Ray Lewis was a dominant linebacker. He was a force. You had to scheme around Ray Lewis. JOK is just a really nice athletic linebacker, and that's just what it is. So
you got to give a shout out to my golfing buddy Dave. He's an Indianapolis Colts fan. He's on trip back home for Thanksgiving, and I told him about Brownie post game. He said he would tune in. He has sent me a note saying he's tuning in, so he's there somewhere.
All right, Dave, how's it going? How's it going, Dave?
And he's one of our partners for the golf tournament coming up December 10th, Mike.
Nice. Indianapolis is one of those other teams that, I mean, Indianapolis right now is 4-5-1. I would take 4-5-1 in a heartbeat
With the new
over
coach
3-6
from the booth that won his first game.
Yeah,
that
Jeff Saturday
everybody
wins his first game.
criticized the hell out of, and he wins. So it'll be interesting to see. The other news tidbit this morning I heard on the NFL channel on Sirius was that they changed whoever the coach is in Denver is changing, or maybe it's the Eagles or the
just name every
Arizona.
team. You'll get them.
Arizona. They're changing from the head coach calling the plays to letting the offensive coordinator call the plays.
Interesting.
So that Kyle Murray has a better sync. So I'm going to watch that game to see how that turns out. And I guess the offensive coordinator play caller was the same, was the guy on Minnesota last year that I guess the Cardinals took away. And they had an explosive offense on Minnesota last year that he led. So it'll be interesting to see if they can turn that ship around today. I forget who they're playing. They may be playing Denver. I don't know.
Arizona Cardinals are 4-6 right now. They play tomorrow, Monday night, against the 49ers,
Okay.
which is a pretty big game for them. I mean, that's a divisional game in the NFC West. I think that's what everybody's been saying all along with Stefanski. Another guy you look at right now, the head coaches that the Browns were interviewing for the job. You had Josh McDaniels, Josh McDaniels is 2-7 right now with the Raiders.
Right.
Mike McCarthy is 6-3 with the Cowboys, and then you have us at 3-6 with. You have us at 3-6 with Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski got us to the playoffs one year in the vacuum, when there weren't fans in the stands.
That's an asterisk year anyway. It's
right.
Terrible.
Basically, it was, and then he didn't even win. And Mike Prefer was technically the head coach, and so it just goes to show that if we have a head coach that's going to sit there and take on all this responsibility, It doesn't seem to me that Stefanski can manage every element of the game, and his defense is specifically suffering to the point of disaster. Let's be honest. I mean, when you give up, let's go back to the last couple of games. 39 points against the Dolphins. They had a good game against the Bengals. I'll give them that. 23 against the Ravens, 38 against the Patriots, 30 against the Chargers, 23 against the Falcons in a loss. 31 against the Jets. I mean, this is a terrible, with who everybody considers to be one of the best defensive players in the league in Myles Garrett.
Right.
That just goes to show. Right, because you scheme against him. You throw a tight end over there, or you throw a running back and you chip him, and that's all you need.
Right. You run at him
to neutralize him
outside, and he's only concerned about the rush.
Or you throw a little screen pass, right over top of him.
Right.
And then he's neutralized. That's it. Pay all that money for that guy to go after the quarterback. And when he's even out there, when he's not flipping his car 1,000 times and knocking himself out of a game, that again, that Falcons game with Marcus Mariota, I firmly believe if Myles Garrett's in there, he could have done something to potentially help us win that game.
Sure, absolutely.
Right. So Myles Garrett is on the hook, I think, for this season, and then the Jets game where they fell apart in the last minute and 34 seconds. So we're sitting there, we paid all that money to come up and watch, and he deserved to be booed. And he's not been back.
They complained about it for a day.
Right. Yeah. They booed us.
I'm just really disappointed in the fans.
Yeah, you deserved it.
They beat the Packers the other night when Rodgers came out and laid an egg along with the rest of the team.
Rodgers
win the week before, and in Green Bay they booed him, and they asked him in the post game news conference, where do you go from here? And he thought for a second. He said home, and then he elaborated a little bit more, but he took a lot of heat for that too. I mean,
he's like, I don't care. They're 4-7. He knows that they're not that good.
Right.
They allowed the Vikings. The Vikings are 8-1. Right. The Vikings with Jefferson, who's I mean, having one of the best years ever as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You've got and then in your division, you got the Lions and the Bears, right?
But here's the problem:
Who are terrible.
we can't go forward with a complete reboot of the coaching staff, and we can't wipe the slate clean because we got this Deshaun Watson thing.
Right.
It's literally impossible for us to go and like do a complete reboot of the coaching staff and expect this to go forward. This has to succeed, or we're like.
Not necessarily. Let me throw out a scenario for you. So, like with, I think you no matter what, you're getting a new defensive coordinator and special teams coach next year, right? We can all agree.
That's not an entire reboot, though.
Right.
That's
but let's say since you're already doing 2/3 of the head of the leadership of the coaches, 2/3 are gone. Is it that far of a stretch to say, you know what? A guy like Sean Payton's out there who's a quarterback guru, played quarterback, and has won a Super Bowl, and you hand Sean Payton keys to bring in his whole coaching staff and coach Deshaun Watson and possibly get even more power in the front office if Jimmy Haslam says, hey, Sean Payton, come here, coach Deshaun Watson and Nick Chubb and these guys, and I'll give you power in the front office.
Right, and then
that's
we're flipping the entire power dynamic, though, in the front office, because right now the Browns, because there's two types of teams in the NFL. There's the ones where the GM is the guy who's in charge, and there's ones where the head coach is the guy who's in charge.
Right.
And right now we're in a GM is in charge. But I mean, again, that's a complete reboot of the entire front office. That's an entire reboot of it.
I don't see
if we brought in Sean Payton and his whole staff and all that, sure, that might work, but is that going to happen? Probably not.
No, I think
so what's left
is going to stay. I think they got to give him a full year with Watson. If that doesn't work out, well, then the finger pointing will be just too ungodly in terms of what we gave up to get Watson, and we can't perform.
Yeah.
Defensive coordinator, there's a lot of talent out there. You should be able to steal somebody, get something, maybe even out of the college ranks, whatever, somebody who can motivate and hopefully pick the talent and put them in the right spots and run the defense. We don't blitz enough. We don't put pressure on the quarterbacks. We let them pick us apart, whether we're in zone or whether we're in man-to-man. And that's what's going to happen today. You're going to watch if Allen can throw the ball, if his elbow is halfway decent, and it's got to be, I guess, to keep playing. They wouldn't let him play if it wasn't good enough. He's going to pick us apart, short, medium, and long. Yeah. Because they got the wide receivers that can create separation. And if you get separation, hell, I can throw some footballs that can hit some of these guys. I mean, that's what it's all about, separation. So, and they got it. So it could be ugly today. If we get behind, like I said, early 14 points, look for a big number from Buffalo, and look for us to desperately go to Jacoby to start throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah, and then next week we've got the 5-5 Buccaneers,
who are the last two they won. And Brady's playing halfway decent if he can recover from the crypto thing.
And they're on a bye.
Yeah, so
we owe Brady a loss though at some point here.
Yeah, it's true.
I think we've beaten him in the past when he was on the Patriots. I'd have to go back and look at that.
It's been a while.
I think we've beaten him. Yeah, no, it has been a while. But like, guys,
I think it was before the 0-16 season that
we have a very good. Clearly, we have a very good chance to lose today against the Bills. We have a very good chance to lose against the Buccaneers.
Sure. No easy ones. There's nothing on our schedules.
I mean, the thing. I think we can win this game today. I really do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
How?
Josh Allen hasn't been playing all that great. All
okay.
Right? If he continues to not play that great for one more game against us, all right, now that puts us on the map.
That's a big if.
Dan, everything you said about separation and pitch and catch and all that sort of stuff, guess what? Amari Cooper and Brissett have been doing that all year long. They can do that, and they can pitch and catch their way to get us into reasonable.
So how many points do we got to score today, John, to beat them?
25.
25, really? Is
25.
that all? Okay. Well,
It
I
is
think we
possible.
could score 25 points,
Yeah.
but I think they're going to score 35 or 40.
Well, maybe you're right, and we'll see. But I think that we can win. And then
We've
second
beaten
of all,
Josh
we can
Allen
control
before.
the game if Brissett and Cooper can do a little pitch and catch.
It'll
And I
help.
think that gives us the opportunity where they cannot just go and throw 9 in the box
Right.
on the run game. And that means that Chubb can eat it up.
What's the line, Mike? Do you know? You guys know what the line is?
I'm gonna check.
No idea. But
Gotta be
in addition,
7-4.
we are in a dome, which means that we've got the kicker with the biggest leg. And yeah, he's been pretty inconsistent this year. I admit. I'm not here to go and blow smoke up anybody's anything.
8
But
points.
what I'm saying, well, maybe I am, but what I'm saying is this guy's got a leg, and when he needs to go and kick a game winner, the coach will tell him, get it to the 40, and he'll ask which one.
Right. Well, he did it in the first game.
Yeah.
50-yarder to win it.
Yeah, he can do it.
And
in a
it's
dome,
inside.
He's not worried about it. So, has he been inconsistent? Yeah. But can he do it? Sure. I think we can win this game. I don't think this is as lopsided as we're preparing for, or as you guys are preparing for.
8-point underdog. We
8 points.
we are playing against the eighth best overall team by PFF standard. The offense, they're 9th. Defense, the Bills are 8th. We are
That's the tough part.
overall, the Cleveland Browns are 15th in PFF. Offense, the Browns are 4th. We have technically a better
Hey.
PFF offense. Our defense is 29th.
That's the hard part.
That
Right,
is
that's what I said.
that's the part that's real bad. And going
If it
into
was average, then I'd say I'd take my normal optimistic position that we got a realistic chance of playing competitively, and if we get the breaks, which we know plays a big part of it. Look at what happened to the Eagles. They came out flat, then they finally started getting going against Washington, and they had that horrible call against them where the receiver not only got hurt, but almost had his head ripped off by a helmet grab, and none of the refs. How many refs you got on the field? 5 or 6, and none of them saw it, but yet they kept playing it replay after replay after replay.
yeah, hey Dad, let me ask you a question. What game? When did Josh Allen get that injury? Was it against Kansas City?
It was at
How
least 2 weeks ago. 2
Okay.
weeks ago.
So here's an interesting thing that I just saw on PFF. So Josh Allen, for the first couple weeks of the season, other than against the Dolphins he stunk. And he had a 47 PFF. The other games, the first game of the season 90. I'm just looking at the passing side of it. So 90, second game 73, third game 47. That's the Dolphins game. Then he comes back with an 80. Then he's an 86. Then he's an 86. Then you have Green Bay, which is 3 weeks ago. Okay, 3 weeks ago at Green Bay, he was a 67-3, which is pedestrian. Then against the Jets, he's a 48-1, go down even further. And then against Minnesota, the game that they lost last week with that crazy game, he was a 68-6. Josh Allen, that injury, I'm telling you, it's something. It might not be everything, and this Browns defense is so bad that it might not matter.
It might not be enough.
It might not, but it's not something you can't ignore at all.
All right, but here's another thing I want to talk about: the turnover ratio right now. Browns have been awful in getting any turnovers this year.
That's true. That's correct.
And there's some of it is talent, some of it's scheme, some of it's all those things that go into actual intentional trying to get turnovers and being in the right place at the right time. But some turnovers are just luck. I mean, sometimes a fumble just goes your way, or a ball is tipped and you get the interception.
Right.
And sometimes it's just pure luck. The Browns have been so unlucky with the turnover game this entire year. We're near the bottom. We're the 4th from the bottom in turnover ratio this year.
That explains a lot.
I think some regression to the mean is due to us. And maybe that sounds like a really idiot lottery player, which maybe it is a stupid statistical thing. Maybe this is stupid, but I don't think it's entirely stupid. I think it's likely that at some point we're going to get lucky with a turnover or two, and we haven't been. And I think that
because our defense stinks. They don't put pressure. You know, you got to tackle hard, and you got to put pressure, and you got to put your hands up.
Yeah.
And when teams are scoring, I don't know what they're averaging against us, but pretty high. That doesn't lead to a culture that's geared up towards getting turnovers.
Right, and the thing about it is the fact that we never blitz. When we blitz, it's like, oh my God, did you see that? We actually blitzed.
Right.
And so we're not putting pressure on the quarterback. Good things happen when you put pressure on the quarterback. Number one, you could knock the ball out. You could sack him. You could knock the ball out of his hand. You could make it so he can't see when he's actually throwing to make him an inaccurate pass. If he does throw, you can knock the ball. You could hit the ball as he's throwing it. You could create a fumble.
You watch the Jets play,
and we
defense.
don't blitz.
They are very aggressive and they blitz a lot. It'd be interesting, Mike, if there's a stat out there somewhere that you could put your hands on that says, who's the most the team that blitzes the most this season, and see what their record is. And I'll bet you it's a positive, and I'll bet you their turnover ratio is a hell of a lot better than ours. Now, do we not have the talent to blitz? Is that why Joe Woods doesn't do it? He's so afraid of getting beat over the top, like he did in the Jets game, that even though he's trying to prevent it, it happens anyway. But I think blitzing on a regular basis plays a big part in disrupting the quarterback or having a rush up the middle.
100% does.
Yeah.
The fact that we can't do it, and then you look at the Jets who got the defensive guy from the 49ers, Robert Salah or whatever his name is. I mean, they're good.
Yeah.
The Jets are good now.
Yeah,
right?
If they had a quarterback that was consistent, they'd probably have one or two more wins.
Yeah, you throw a good veteran quarterback on that team. Look at Joe Flacco; wasn't actually playing that bad, right? So that just goes to show, guys. I really think that it would be unfortunate. It would be unfortunate if we have to completely clean house again.
Where did Wink Martindale go from Baltimore? What team did he go to?
The Giants.
The Giants. And look at I bet you their defense, I bet you their turnover ratio, I bet you their blitz ratio is one hell of a lot higher than it's been for the last 4 or 5 years.
Looking at the defense for the Giants, PFF has them pretty low. But that's more, again, it's player grades. It's not performance necessarily. It's player grades.
There's a article from Sharp Football Analysis from earlier this year that's about the rise of the anti-aggressive NFL defense.
Yeah.
Really?
Where more and more teams are actually bringing the blitz back, and they're not using the blitz as often. It's still used more often than it's still used a lot, but it's being used so much less than it used to be in the past, say, 5 or 10 years. Mm-hmm. And part of that, they allege, is attributed to people like Mahomes and Brady, and other blitz-proof quarterbacks, where you blitz them all day long and they're just going to pick you apart for exposing your defense like that.
Right.
That's part of the reason, but part of it is that the blitz isn't as effective in today's NFL, the way that everybody is scheming. And so maybe there's a little bit of slack to be given for the lack. Now, I think Joe Woods is still under the league average by some significant margin in total amounts of blitz percentage.
Yeah.
But maybe there's some slack to be given in the
hey, listen, I mean,
in the purpose.
There's the stats side of it, and then there's the eyeball test, and then there's the results. Okay? We've got all of these things. They're all going against Joe Woods. Right? When you sit
I'm not
there,
defending Joe Woods here.
Right. I'm not saying you are. But
we haven't played against a lot of top-notch quarterbacks. Look how many rookie quarterbacks, first-time starters, whatever, second stringers that we played against that we never put any pressure on from start to finish.
Right.
There's no excuse for that.
That's the name of the game. When you have a young quarterback, You play fast and you play in his face.
Right.
That's what you do. Because you're forcing them to make faster decisions. At the end of the day, when you threaten the blitz, you don't even have to blitz. You're getting him to think about another variable instead of thinking about what the defense is going to do and what they're going to give him.
Simulated pressure.
Simulate it then. We don't even see that.
Yeah.
That's how bad Joe Woods is. And I got to tell you guys, like, if we go into it another from with PFF again, the Browns run defense for PFF last in the league. The Browns tackling 29th. The Browns pass rush 13th. Fine.
Fire Joe Woods.
Coverage, the
That's
Browns
because-
18th.
Yes, because Miles has got a sack or two, and they give him a lot of credit for that. But and occasionally it turns out to be a game changer where he flips the ball out of the quarterback's hands and we get a fumble.
Brown
But
special
that's
teams,
been-
Brown
that's
special
been few
teams,
and far between
PFF.
lately.
Brown special teams, PFF 30th in the league.
All right.
I mean,
You've given me enough on Prefer. I've changed my opinion.
You're ready to kill. You're ready to fire him.
throw him out. Throw him out. Throw him out. Like just throw him into the street. Throw him out with the sewage.
I'm convinced. Yeah, Joe Woods and Prefer, send them both packing.
Launch them into Lake Erie. Launch them like with a trebuchet. Just launch them out there.
And get some talent. Get some new talent. Get some new blood.
Who's gonna want to come to Cleveland? Because I truly believe,
Well,
and
the
this
bar
is, and
so
we
low,
and,
you get-
and
you
we
don't
have
have
talked
to
to
do much
people.
to improve.
Hold on, Ed. We have talked to people that have been fans of teams that like Muhlenfeld, who's from the Tennessee Titans fans. When we got Jadeveon Clowney, everybody was cheering. We're gonna have Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, and they're gonna do awesome. And Jadeveon Clowney, I'm convinced he came to the Browns knowing, listen, I'm gonna play half the games a year, half of them. The other half, I'm gonna be injured, whatever. I'm gonna collect my checks. And then teams are going to be bending over backwards to try to sign me next year because my name is Jadeveon Clowney, because I made a big hit one time in college and have been a mediocre pedestrian NFL player with a ton of talent that has never materialized. That Jadeveon Clowney is the definition of fool's gold in the NFL, and we bought it not once but twice. And
Yeah,
instead,
he's working. He's just going to do his job. He knows what he can do. He gets an injury and he gets to sit out for 3 weeks, preserves his job, and gets to stay on for another year or two somewhere else, and he'll play till his body will not let him play again, and then he'll just retire in comfort.
Yeah, and I don't blame him for that. But the problem is when you're a guy like Andrew Berry and you put an emphasis on retaining a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, it makes it so then you punt down another year of trying to put a guy on the other side of Myles Garrett, and maybe you can't. Because Perrion Winfrey was supposed to be a guy that we're supposed to be able to leverage to get pressure on a quarterback. We barely even is a healthy like roster spot week in and week out. Right, so this is a real challenge, and this is
Winfrey was drafting what, like the 6th round or 7th round? We grabbed him.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that he's a first round guy, but like something that we're supposed to be able to have out there to do it. I mean, Rostano called this out earlier before the season started that this defensive line is one of the biggest holes that we have on this team. Is the defensive line. Okay,
And we haven't fixed it,
and we haven't done anything to fix it. So it's gone the other way, and then you have a game like against the Falcons, who I'm telling you, they're an inferior team talent wise, and yet they went nuts on us. Sorry, like Myles Garrett has blame to be placed on him this year. You're not only the leader of the team, you're not only Madden 99 guy, you're everything. And you're sitting there with a absolute god awful defense, and you're the face of that defense.
Right.
Smart, tough, accountable. What is it?
not smart, not accountable.
It might now might be a good time to talk about Ristano and the tragedy that he endured this past week. As you know, he's on the Wednesday show. He's an integral part of our channel, and Mike's playing with his headset there, but
Well, Mike's at DreamHack right now, so
Yeah, sorry, I
he's
missed
got
that.
third parties that
I
want to
said-
know about. But Dan's talking about Ristano, Mike.
You may want to talk about his tragedy this week that he's endured.
Yeah. You know, and this is sad. It's really sad. We got a call. I got a call a couple days ago from Mike, who obviously everybody in the channel knows Mike really well. You know, Wednesday show stuff. Mike's had just been busy this year, so I haven't been pushing him to come on the channel as much. But Mike always has a spot on the show whenever he wants. And one of the guys that we play in a fantasy football league, my dad and I, with Mike and a lot of his friends. We're in that league, and one of the guys in the league unfortunately passed away in a car accident on Friday morning, and so it's been tough. And it's like, you know, tragedy can hit at any moment. It's the same thing with, like, it brings me back to the whole Myles Garrett thing, how stupid that thing was that he did.
Right.
But this, you know, this guy, at any moment, life can end. Any moment.
Yeah,
and
he's got a family
and stuff like that, and then you got Mike, who's obviously a big part of this channel, a big part of my life, you know, one of my closest friends, and I literally feel his loss. I can feel how hard it is, and it's pretty awful. So if you guys follow Bonzo1273 on Twitter, Mike Ristano, send him a message saying you're thinking about him, and you know, sorry, and offer his condolences, because it's been a rough couple days for Mike. And you know, when you lose a close friend that's been almost a lifelong friend like he did, it's pretty bad. I know we've all experienced loss in life, and this is one of those moments that he's dealing with now. So you guys could show Mike some love. Again, Bonzo1273 on Twitter. And, you know, I hope the Browns go out there and give him a little bit of cheer today. Something to smile about, because, you know, it's, at the end of the day, life happens. Things are going on. Sports ball is not very important when in the grand scheme of things. It's just entertainment. Right. And, you know, we got to, sometimes you got to put it into perspective like that. All right. And by the way, I'm sorry I stepped away from a second. I had a staff member from DreamHack come over and ask me a couple questions about just making sure everything was good to go. But yeah, I mean, guys, just to give you an idea. So as you can see, I'm live from DreamHack Atlanta, which is a video game convention that I go to. This is the third one that I've gone to. This is the first one that I've been actually. I don't know if you guys can see this. Look, I'm official. I'm a content creator. Here is some content, and I'm also a premium badge holder. So me and my son Max, we're here. Maxwell has a channel as well. It's Maxwell Gamer on YouTube. So Maxwell and myself are here as official content creators.
That video you did with Max from Hooters was hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you.
And your mom, I played it for her, and she couldn't stop laughing. She laughed for 5 minutes straight.
My gosh, I'll put it in the chat for everybody to watch Maxwell's video.
It was so surprising at the end of his little quiz.
Timing is everything.
You haven't seen it, John?
No, yeah, it's great. Yeah, I give it the seal of approval. Everybody go watch it once the link's up there.
Father-son bonding at Hooters.
And Killer Shot said something in chat. I think he was talking about our defensive tackle. What's his name? The guy.
The new guy.
Yeah. What's his name? That's out right now. Who's always out.
Perry
Winfrey. Yeah. He said he's drafted in the 4th round. So that might be true. And if it is, okay, that makes it even worse. And that's unfortunate.
It's another Andrew Berry play. We're going with the orange. We're going orange pants, white jerseys today for anybody who's keeping track at home. Yeah. So we've now eaten in Atlanta. We've eaten at 2 different Hooters. The one in downtown, and then actually we drove up from Orlando to get up here in Atlanta, and we stopped in Gainesville, and we ate at the Hooters in Gainesville, and then we ate at the Hooters. And tonight I think we're gonna go to the Hooters again. My son's like, "Do they have Hooters in Orlando?"
You know, there's good restaurants in America, even in Atlanta.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
John.
Can you imagine being 12 years old though and just hanging out at Hooters? I mean,
Hey,
like,
what does Lindsay
Plenty
think
good.
about that? Did she comment?
she thought it was funny. She thought it was funny too. Yeah. So, Josh Allen, they're showing. I got my Direct TV. I got my the game up here above me, and yeah, it looks like they're warming up, getting ready. We're a little less than a half hour away from game time here, guys. This would be a good time. Hey, if you're not subscribed to the channel, we're trying to hit 10,000. So, subscribe to the channel if you are not a subscriber yet. Please do.
You see chat? Look at chat. Somebody.
Robin, yeah, Max's video is hilarious. I think Max is gonna get to 10,000 before I do. It's very good, very good. Oh, there's Miles. There we go. I wonder if Deshaun is allowed to be on the sidelines? I'm sure they'd show him nonstop if he's on the sidelines.
Well, we all know he's at practice right now, and so he's allowed to be in the building and be at practice.
And Joki's out there. And Joki's out there. And Joki's gonna play.
Good.
Harrison Bryant, Pharaoh Brown, David Njoku, they're all out there.
I'm still very concerned about the amount of rust that that Watson's going to bring to the table on game one. And then I'm not too concerned about the fan fallout from week one rust, if it exists, which I think it will, but I'm not concerned about the fan fallout. I'm just concerned is that rust going to be rust you can knock off, or is he not going to come back as the same quarterback?
Well, the Texans are 1-7-1. They are officially the worst team in the NFL, the Houston Texans. So if you're gonna come back and play against a team, can you imagine if we were playing against the Chiefs or the Eagles or some team that's just ripping this season?
They're going to be motivated to play well above their pay grade against Watson. You're going to see
some of them will.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think the players are different than the fans. The players, they've got friends, family across the teams, and when they play against a team, it's not necessarily the same as the fans when they see when they've got a lifelong of just seeing Pittsburgh Steelers and hatred. You know, a lot of the players see Pittsburgh Steelers and they're like, hey, my buddy's over on that team because I played with them 2 years ago. And we were friends and we used to hang out together. So, you know, I don't know that there might be some animosity, but I don't know that there's going to be a huge amount of animosity from the players towards.
Well, not so much
the players,
animosity.
no.
They just don't want to lose to him. They want to beat him.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I don't. But are there even going to be any fans in the stands?
The Browns wanted to beat Baker this year,
right? Yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
No, I would say there's a lot of Browns fans that were. I mean, the Browns fans are split 50-50. You either love Baker and you're supporting him, or you hate him. I mean, it is polarized. He's a polarizing player. I don't know about Deshaun Watson. I don't know. I don't know if the Texans honestly care. I don't know how passionate they are. We're here in Atlanta, like you guys know, and the Atlanta Falcons are 4-6. They're playing at home against the Bears, and we're driving in. We got here a little after 9 o'clock in the morning. Right next to the stadium, and the lots where they're doing tailgating. There's like 3 tents. They don't give a crap. There are teams of fans that do not care. That they're not that invested. There are the Browns fans like us who are extremely invested.
At this point, the Muni lot's been filled up for 6 hours, or almost not 6, but
people camp out the night before.
Well, at the beginning of the season, for sure. Today, maybe there might even still be a spot in the Muni lot. Well, no, we're in Detroit today, but if this is a home game, there might still be a spot left.
And that's one of the reasons why I was like, wanted to go out for the Jets game, the home opener, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, we had a chance to win. We should have won that game, and it's a relevant game. It's relevant because it's early in the season. We could have gone 2-0. Imagine if we had tickets to the Buck. I mean, Mike and Laura Restano, they're going. Well, they have tickets. They're going to go to the Buccaneers game. which could be a completely irrelevant game. You just get to say you saw Tom Brady play. That's it. And for me, I would feel like that it'd be a giant disappointment knowing that you're going to see a team that like isn't in it, doesn't really care, jogs after players who are going into the end zone, flips their Porsche going 120 miles an hour, whatever. That's the team that you're trying to go see.
Well, if we win this game, and I think it's possible, we win this game, there's going to be some fun conversations to be had over the next week or two.
Sure.
But if we lose this, we're going to be starting to talk about off-season conversations.
Well, Phil Sims right now is talking about the teams that are leading the division, in the hunt for the wild card and everything like that. We're not mathematically eliminated yet, but we're pretty darn close to it, guys. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but I think some of those, by the numbers, we're out right now. But it doesn't take much to flip the numbers if things start going your way. And are they going to? That's a long shot, I suppose. Maybe it's a very long shot. We kind of suck this year. It sucks that we suck.
We do.
But the eternal optimist in me says, we win this game, beat the Bucks. Suddenly, we got 5 wins. Now, are we in position to make a shot at the playoffs? Maybe we are at that point, and suddenly the conversation changes. We might not get into the front runner position, but we might be in the hunt position, and Deshaun Watson takes over a in the hunt team. Is that likely? I don't know. Well, probably unlikely. All right, I do know that's unlikely.
At the end of the day, guys, like it's the NFL. Anything can happen any given Sunday. Okay. The Bills.
That's the one thing this year that I guess I'm most surprised at is the inconsistency from week to week. I'm in a pick'em league. I try to just pick the winners from one week to the next.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I haven't even come close because the teams you think are going to win, they're favored to win. They wind up losing. You can't count on anybody. And then when you think they're terrible, like the Bears, and you start betting against them, then their quarterback starts to play like he's an all-star. So, who would have thought the Eagles would be as good as they are? The Giants, the Jets, and who would think that the Packers and Tampa and some of these other teams are as bad as they are? It's really, and this isn't a pandemic year. This is a normal year that just is sort of a fluke when it comes right down to it. So
if you look at the standings in the NFL, most teams are at around 500.
Yeah,
a game or two, right? That's about it. And honestly, we're not that far off either. We're 3-6. We're not.
Besides the Vikings,
there's a lot of parity.
But
the Vikings and the Eagles are the two teams running away with it, and the Eagles lost last week to the Commanders, the 5-5 Commanders. So it's like any given, there's not
and
that.
Minnesota should have lost to Buffalo the way they screwed up that game at the end.
Yeah.
They were just extremely lucky that they came away with a win. So they should have lost that game.
Wins are hard to come by. Wins are fragile in the NFL.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
You have got to go after them. And you can't give up onside kicks and fake punts. You can't do those things, because those things are how you get losses. You're going to miss a kick. You're going to miss a field goal. You're going to miss an extra point every once in a while. You're going to throw an interception. But you can't have giant turnovers in critical moments. And that's what it's been all about with this team. And, it's Michael Jordan used to talk about it when everybody used to compare LeBron to Jordan early on. And LeBron was getting to the finals with the Cavs and just losing and losing and losing. And Jordan was like, do you think it's easy to win? Do you think it's easy to win championships or even easy to win in general? There's no there's no entitlement in professional sports. You either win the game or you don't win the game, right? And that's the thing. Well, we're playing. The USA is playing soccer today. We're playing against Wales, and then we've got England. I think Iran is in our division as well. And guys, I mean, who knows? You go out there and you just play. You get lucky, like the USA hockey team beating the Russians in the '80s. I mean, it can happen.
How would you like to be on that Iran team, and knowing you're going to play against the U.S. and if you screw up in that game, it'd be like going home and having somebody shoot you. I mean, the pressure that's on those guys to do well against the U.S.
Well, it's not like we've never played against Iran before. I mean, and at the end of the day, it's not the military. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I wouldn't want that pressure.
No,
I wouldn't want that pressure. All right, we got about 17 minutes till kickoff. I'm gonna be with you guys the whole time, so I'm gonna be watching the game. We'll be chilling. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one. I gotta tell you,
John, what's your prediction?
Browns win.
Okay, at any score, doesn't matter. Just a win.
I don't pick scores.
Money line, Browns win.
You guys can pick your scores. I pick Browns win. That's my prediction.
Dad, what about you?
I think they lose. I just don't think they have the talent on the defensive side. I'm going to be rooting for them. I'm going to, I'll be jumping up and down if they get an interception or a fumble or he throws a touchdown. But I just, I'm with Vegas. I think they're going to lose by at least 8, if not more. Yeah. That's where the money is. Those guys are not often wrong. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'd take the Bills and I'd give up the 8 points if I was betting it.
Yeah,
I don't bet, so don't take my advice here. I don't bet on sports. So, and when I make a prediction, it's oftentimes wrong. So I will say I think the Bills will win the game, and I hope the Browns win. I do. Obviously,
there's a lot more to talk about, cheer about.
It'll be fun. I mean, we've lost 6 times. We have 6 weeks of losses this year. This is one of those traditional Brown seasons where we just lose and lose and lose and lose and lose, and we don't get to be happy.
The problem is the off season is long enough. I don't want to start it early. So Browns win.
Yeah, with no draft picks in coming, nothing to look forward to.
We don't even have a first rounder to look forward to. We can't even win the Super Bowl off season.
Right.
We are stuck with what we've got.
Right.
So yeah, I understand that you guys are trying to be realistic and make accurate predictions. So am I. Browns win.
Okay.
Well,
good.
I mean, you look at it.
I'm rooting for you, John.
I mean, it's funny because after the 0-16 and 1-15 teams, it was just like, hey, are we playing relevant football in November? Because we would be out of it by October. It's over. The season's over in October. Now we're inching towards that, where only the month of December will be irrelevant. Right, so we're kind of moving a month forward in the future. What was that?
Where were we last year at this point with Baker being hurt? Were we still in contention?
Yeah, I don't think we were 3-6. I could go back and look.
That was ugly though. The entire thing, he should have been benched. Yeah. His play was so bad.
I agree.
He should have been benched immediately. He would have had a 5th-year contract this year.
I don't know if they would have given it to him.
We won 8 games. We won 8.
5th year.
We won 8 games last year. I don't see 8 games this year, guys. I don't see it.
Dan, Baker was this would have been Baker's 5th year this year, which means that's right. He was entitled to 17 million.
Yeah, they might have not done the Watson.
He would have been on our roster instead of being traded away, where we had to essentially pay to get rid of him.
Right.
He would have been on our roster if they would have benched him, if he would have accepted being benched in week 2 or week 3. But instead, he said, "Don't bench me. I can play this year. I want to earn my big paycheck." And he didn't earn it, and it screwed him and screwed our year.
Right. Have we had Case Keenum? He would have been a decent backup as.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have been a Brissett, but Keenum's always been kind of your standard, gets the basics done without making
the
too many
teams he should beat, loses to
Listen.
the teams he can't beat, that type of thing.
Honestly, I don't mind them moving off Baker. I think how they did it, where they just fire sailed him, just park him. If you're gonna end up paying for his contract anyway, right? Just park him in the parking lot, and then wait for the quarterbacks to get hurt.
Look what they did with Garofalo. Maybe they looked at the Baker thing and said, "We're not going to do that. We're gonna go with Lance. We're going to put him on the bench, but we're going to keep him, even though he's healthy now from his injury.
Right.
He's back. And then what happens? Lance goes down, and Jimmy is the savior of the year.
You're right. So
unbelievable.
I mean, I don't think Baker would have done that.
You can't park a quarterback like that because they have to be on the practice field by NFL rules. So he's going to be on the sidelines in your practices every single time.
They did that to Deshaun his last year. They didn't. They were just like, you stay home.
Right, but Deshaun was facing outside allegations. It wasn't internal turmoil.
No. I'm talking about the year. I'm talking about before the allegation started. They had Deshaun out, and he said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play. You can't force what if Baker? They could have worked something out. I think where they would have said, Baker, hang tight. We understand. We're trying to move you, but we're not just going to fire sale you because blah 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 blah. Just stay quiet and stay home, and we're good. And Baker would have been like, all right, fine.
I think we lose that Panthers game if we didn't trade him to the Panthers.
I mean, we tried to lose it. We won with a 58-yard kick.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm saying Panthers would have found a better option, and they would have started somebody else that first week.
I think
they had Darnold. He couldn't hold the job, and the first string. The guy they drafted got hurt.
Yeah, Matt Corral.
Yeah,
Matt Corral.
Matt Corral. I mean, I feel bad for Matt Corral. He got hurt in college. The last game in the. That's why, if you're a kid in college, and you have a chance to be the first overall pick in the draft, and you're playing some irrelevant bowl game, just cash your lottery ticket, and say goodbye. Like you don't owe that school anything. You don't owe those teammates anything. Like nobody's gonna give a crap. Are you gonna come back to Ole Miss and be like, hey, remember that season when we went like 7-4 and I played in the bowl game? Who cares? Matt Corral screwed himself over with bad advice. I mean, I never would have done that. And he would have and Matt Corral might have been picked over Kenny Pickett.
You would have done that when you were 20, though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if I would. When you're holding, then you have bad advice. Because if you're a parent and you're sitting there and your kid's holding a lottery ticket, you don't say, "Hey, just take a flame underneath it and just."
Yeah, but I knew you when you were 20.
It.
You would have done that when you were 20.
What? I would have played in the game.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
20, that's the attitude you have.
It's hard to turn down.
I don't know. Either way, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, but a lot of players do get hurt in bowl games, and it does impact where they get drafted.
Absolutely.
Right, a lot of players don't sit out. A lot of players don't. You
should sit out.
Maybe not you shouldn't play in a Senior Bowl or something like that, because that's that. But generally, the guys who play in the Senior Bowl are trying to move up in the draft. They're trying to get a position, maybe make a name for themselves and have a standout game or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's tough. Not many players sit out.
Yeah. 9 minutes till game time, guys.
Great, I'm gonna head out of here, guys.
Yep, it's time for me to start making some nachos.
All right, John, I'm rooting for you.
Yep, I'm gonna go get some. I'm gonna go hydrate a little bit before the game. So, guys, thanks for being with us. I'm just gonna put on the starting soon screen. I will be back as long as we don't have any interruptions here with the internet. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you soon. Coming back live soon, everybody. Hang tight. Kickoff time. There we go, Jerome. All right, I'll take it. All right, coming back. Hang tight, everybody. Hang tight, everybody. All right. Little swing pass to Nick. Woo. I'll take that. Start off with a nice little swing pass to Nick Chubb. I'm going to be eating here, so I apologize to everybody. It's lunchtime for me. I know this isn't stream etiquette, but all right, we got Jacoby. Actually, I can listen to it. I'm here. Yep. I can call out what time it is. I have 13:56. What do you got? When it gets to 1240? Okay. What are you at right now? Okay. Wow. A lot more game than I'm way behind. All right. Travis, thank you for being tier 1. New member. Oh. 13 minutes. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 12:40. Not bad, right? I'll take it. Yes, we are at 12 minutes. What we're 12:18, 12:17, 12:16, 12:15, so we're right around there if anybody's watching with us. Looks like we're on about the 37-yard line. Hand to Nick Chubb.
Chubb?
Ah.
Hey. 5 is okay.
Yeah, I got arm tackled though. So, what's next? John, are you on camera by chance? No.
I can be.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay.
I might have to go though in a moment, unless my wife makes me nachos.
Fair. Transition, so you got more than just me on screen.
Sure.
3rd and 11.
Let's go. Come on, Brissett. But we can kick it from here if we have to. It's a dome.
Oh,
there we go, Cooper, baby.
There we go. Nice catch, Coop.
Cooper is so good. He is the best thing we picked up in a long time.
He doesn't suck.
Deshaun Watson undecided still, but everybody watching, we're at 10-10, 10-9, 10-08, 10-07, 10-06, 5, 4, 3, 2.
10 minutes.
If you want to sync up with us, pause the TV and wait for our countdowns. 1st and 10. This is going to be good. Look at that, stack in the box.
Chubb.
That was a good defensive call.
Agreed.
That should have been an audible, honestly.
Travis Ramelt is a tier 1 subscriber. Welcome, Travis.
Oh, what's that shirt Stefan's is wearing?
I missed it.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for that. Whoa! Yes! Yes! Woo! Yes!
Touchdown? Did he come down with it?
Yeah, he got it. Touchdown signaled.
Hooray, Browns! Look
Browns
at
win.
Wonder if my dad's watching. And he's held. Look at that. He
Look at
helped.
this catch.
He helped him catch it. Touchdown, baby!
That's a touchdown. No doubt about it.
What a great catch! Just throw
If
it.
there's any flags, it was defensive offsides or defense pass interference. No flags.
Let's go. Nice. 7-0. We'll take that.
I remember this is about how I felt at the first drive of the Miami game, though.
Yeah, we do script a great drive to start games.
Yeah, I wish we could script two. Is that not allowed or something in the NFL? You're not allowed to script 2 drives?
I don't know. Oh, hold on. I got you all screwed up on screen here. Somehow made you really big there for a second. There you go. Let's go, says Hambone.
This is going to be fun.
All right, so 7-0 Browns. We'll take it.
Yeah.
See how long this
There's
lasts.
definitely game planning around Chubb. We definitely saw him stack the box that 1st and 10 after the Cooper got the long first down, or long third down.
Can you just launch my video?
I'm ready to go home and not eat convention food.
What is the food selection at conventions? Your convention, DreamHack.
It's so close to me, like right next to where I am. They've got like stadium quality Papa John's, not like real Papa John's, like the stadium version of it.
Yeah, it's understandable.
And a Nathan's hot dog. So if you want to just grab something real quick, it's right there. On the other end of the hall, you've got some nice stuff. Like they have these like this donut place there that's awesome, where they make the donuts right in front of you. They've got this like taco areas. They've got cheeseburgers. They got everything you want, but it's a far walk to get down there, and like it's a long trip. Hold on.
7-0.
All right, so first quarter differential is massive.
You got pizza and nachos at the same time.
We win the first quarter. Bad kick. He did not hit that one good.
No. Oh my God. And they made hay out of it.
Luckily, Cade York got in the way, or he would have gone to the house, I think. I really do. Is that Greedy? Did Greedy Williams make a play? Oh my God.
All right, let's see if Josh Allen is still injured.
Yeah. So, you know, we saw that's Georgia.
Bunch of wide open guys, of course. Oh, JOK's playing. Take it.
Yeah.
Itch on my head. Ken Dorsey, ex-Browns quarterback. Ken Dorsey. Oh, they did something. They tackled Josh Allen eventually.
Yeah.
Josh Allen looks like a quarterback that like he looks like a guy who could like handle Miles. Like I feel like Josh Allen could actually go toe to toe with Miles Garrett.
I don't know about that, but I mean, have you seen Miles?
Yeah, watch this play. That's Miles holding him. Josh Allen didn't go down easy.
They're both big boys, but yeah. Hey, Mike, I've got to disappear for a little bit.
Okay.
I'll keep the game synced.
Sounds good, man. All right, third down and 3. Go get him. Throws it away. All right. 3 and out for the Browns. Defense did something. Oh, my God. Look at this. Look at this. We're making it a game. Punt. Punts it away. Hey. Peoples Jones with the catch. Off to commercial. Bum, ba, ba, bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum, bum. Still commercial time, guys. Ah. Ah, rip. All right, Browns, we are winning 7-0. What do I do here? Lock that down. Nice run for the Browns.
Like literal feces. Bullshit.
Tooth. Well, 2-23. 19-23. No, because I destroyed my 2. I'll win that. It doesn't matter. To win that. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Ooh, yeah, throw it there. That there. 2. Why not? Just in case. All right, Browns. We got a 1st and 10 here. A little 1st and 10 situation on our 3rd and 13. It's just a. I'm not watching the game clearly. Whee! Zipping it over there. Be back.